You are listening to the Big Blue Podcast. I am Greg Stone, Metro Campus Provost, and I'm here as always with Dr. Leigh Goodson, our president. Hello.
Hello, Dr. Stone.
How are you, Dr. Goodson? I'm good.
Yeah.
And we are here today with Jenny Beatie, who is our Dean of Student Affairs at West Campus. And I just want to start off by saying to Jenny, thank you, because for the last several months, you've not only been handling those responsibilities and your college-wide responsibilities in student life, but you've also been filling in here at Metro. I think most people probably know that our previous Dean of Student Affairs, Darren Behara, is on to other things, and so we certainly wish him well. He left this summer, and so Jenny has been so fantastic to kind of step in the interim, and we're going to start that search process soon, but I just appreciate personally and want to say that publicly, not only your support of the campus, but your leadership in that time too. So thanks. Really
Well,
appreciate it.
thank you. And I just have to say that when I started here 26 years ago on my first day, when I was taken around the campus for all the introductions, I went up to Bill Stevenson's office, and Bill was the Dean of Student Affairs at the time.
Yep.
And I was introduced to him, and in chatter I said, someday I want to be the Dean of Student Affairs at the Metro campus. And so it kind of was funny
right.
that was my first day at TJC.
Yep.
And now here I am filling in. So
It's like your
it's all
day in the
worked
sun.
out.
Exactly.
It is. It all worked out.
So you are not ever quiet about the fact that you love your job. I've heard you say that on several occasions. In fact, you just said it to us before we started recording.
I did, yeah.
What do you love about your job? Why do you like being here?
You know, I love being here because I feel like I'm making a difference. And to me, student affairs, that's what student affairs is all about. You know, all the people that we get to come in contact with and the students we get to meet, and even the students where it's kind of a hard conversation to have, I'm still feel like I'm making a difference to them. You know, and I was just visiting with a student before I came over here, and, you know, he was really struggling in my office. But he left and he said, "Can I give you a high five? Because you were really helpful." And so, you know, even through the tough times, I feel like I'm making a difference. Love my job.
It shows. It shows.
Thank you.
Really.
Yeah, thank you.
So Student Affairs had a pretty big reorg not that long ago.
Yeah, a big one.
Yeah, and you became the Dean of Student Life.
Right.
So you're the Dean on the West Campus.
Correct.
And then you're also responsible for all of student life for the entire college.
Right.
So talk to us about what's happened in student life since that transition, and what do you see coming down the pipeline?
So I tell people all the time that this reorg was the best thing ever because...
Can I...
You want me to say it again? This reorg was the best thing ever.
Here's what I need, Jenny. One of those Harry Potter posters where the person on the poster is talking and you can hear them. Yes. And I need you on that poster.
Like smell-o-vision, only you need me to jump out of the poster. Right.
Okay.
So here's why it was the best decision ever. Because in student life, so there were 4 directors of student life before, and each director reported up to the dean on their campus. All awesome people with great plans and suggestions, but the 4 directors of student life would come together, and we'd been given a task, for example. And so we'd all come together and say, okay, well, my dean told me that to make sure we cover this, or to include this, or to have it, you know, go this direction. And then someone else would say, well, my dean told me. And so we would sit there in a dilemma thinking, okay, so whose dean are we going to make happy this week? You know, and it was so hard.
It is a dilemma.
Yeah.
It is a
so
dilemma. It was like
hard.
running 4 different colleges.
Yes.
Yeah, same on the academic side.
Absolutely.
Wouldn't you say,
Yeah.
Oh,
Greg?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then not only, so then we would kind of try to come to a consensus or create a plan, and then we would each, of course, have to go back to our respective deans for feedback. Well, then they'd all have to get together, and it was such a lengthy process, and we just felt like we could never get anything done. And I know, you know, since I've had the chance to be in this role, that student life will say, oh my gosh, we can make decisions. So we can just move now because, you know, we can be in a meeting and I can say, yes, we can do that, or no, we can't, or yeah, we've got the funding for that, or you know what, I know about this project, so let's try to piggyback on that. and it just is so much better. So much better. And
Fabulous. That's so fabulous. I love
Yes,
hearing that. Thank you
yes.
for sharing that.
We have created a one college budget, and so now we don't have a budget for each individual campus in terms of student life anymore. We pooled it. And so now we're able to do things like, since we're all kind of programming similarly, maybe it's on a different day or a different hour, but the programming is really inclusive of all campuses. So, for instance, when we order a giveaway, for example, we're ordering that giveaway one time in bulk and then distributing, so we're able to take advantage of the price breaks. And, you know, that's just one example. Marketing is the same way.
Right.
You know, staffing, we can shift staffing around so much easier now. I mean, I could go on and on.
That's great.
On and on.
Well, for people who maybe haven't thought about student life in a while, or maybe are in a position within the institution and they kind of, because they don't interact with student life regularly, might forget about what you all offer. Kind of give us
Right.
a quick overview about what's available through student life.
Sure. So, you know, one of the real challenges for students when they come to college is that balance between the academic side of where they need that growth and development and the social aspects and all the other parts of it. And so we try to support the academic side of the house through programming. So we have all kinds of programming. We partner with the academic side a lot. In fact, each of our student life people is assigned to a school. And so we partner with the people in that school to help foster that development and those activities that we can do to support what's happening in the classroom. So we have all that programming. We're, of course, in charge of things like Welcome Week. We have ticket sales, all of the student organizations. So there are over 60 student organizations college-wide at TCC that are active. We have a lot more on the books, but those are the ones active. So we support all of those student organizations, all of student government. This is our first year to have a one college student government association, which is super exciting.
Yeah, it is.
And so we had elections in May, and we've just come off a really great retreat with those leaders. And so we'll be having campus activity boards at each campus so that they can program things that are more specific to that campus, you know, so we can still be one college, but still maintain that identity for each of the campuses. So we are full of things to do in student life and always busy.
Yep.
And you love your job.
And I love my job.
And you love the reorg.
I
How
do
does
love
she
the reorg.
Smile so much, Greg. How does that
do.
work?
Well, I don't know. It's
You've
contagious, though.
You've been
It's
around it
certainly
more this
contagious.
semester,
Yeah,
haven't
Absolutely.
you? Yeah. Well, I'm Leigh Goodson, and I'm here with Dr. Greg Stone. Jennifer Beatie, Dean of Student Affairs, is our guest today. And you're listening to the Big Blue Podcast. So, Jenny, you and I met for the first, we'd known each other at OSU.
Right.
And so you
Right.
are bound to keep whatever you know about me in the vault.
Tucked
there's-
away
tucked
with lock and
away,
key.
So there's that. But one of the first events for student life after I started this role was the Paint the Zoo Blue event. And it was so funny. Everybody was kind of nervous about, okay, how's she going to get around or whatever. And so Jenny drove me around in a golf cart.
I remember that.
And it was so fun. I was like, this is so fun. And so we had a great time.
We did.
We
We
really
had a
did
great
have
time.
a great time. So we've got Paint the Zoo Blue coming up.
Yes,
Yes.
next Saturday.
Okay. Can you
Yep.
give us a sneak peek at what it's
Yeah.
going to be? Yeah.
So
a week
families.
from this Saturday.
Right.
Yeah, so
August
the
26th.
yeah,
August
26th.
26th,
Yep.
6 o'clock.
Yep. I'm bringing my daughter
Bring your daughter.
and
bring
her cousin because he's staying with us for the weekend.
All
so,
right,
Okay.
all right. We'll be ready. So a couple of things. We're going to have a new part to the Paint the Zoo Blue this year. So we really want for the little kids to feel like they've got that extra special something for them. So we have the Kids Zone this year.
Oh, nice.
So
Nice.
lots of cool things in the Kids Zone. That'll be from 6 to 8. There'll be just some fun things for them to do and just kind of a special place for families to come and bring their young children to really we want to start recruiting early, right?
Absolutely.
Come to TCC, come to
Yeah.
the fun zone.
Yeah.
And so that's the biggest change that we have this year. The other changes are slight. Locations of things will be a little bit different. But we're just trying to fine tune it and make it better, every single year. Take the feedback we get and then just work with that and try to create a better experience.
And turnout has been huge.
It's been a tremendous
it's just-
success. Everybody has fun. They stand in that line and it's sweltering hot.
Yes.
I'm like, really? Wow. And they go in and they just have a blast.
Yeah.
And they're outside too. I think, well,
Yes.
because it's so hot, everybody's going to try to be inside somewhere. No, and the zoo's been a great partner, letting
Great
us have
partner.
access to really
Yes.
almost every exhibit
Yes.
while we're there.
And there's a new exhibit this year. It's called the Lost Kingdom.
The Lost Kingdom.
So Lost Kingdom is brand new this year, and that is
And
going
we'll
to
be
be
able
really
to see
exciting.
that,
Yes,
right?
yes,
Okay,
it'll be
awesome.
available.
I
And of course,
took my-
free train rides and free carousel rides. So that's always a big hit too.
I just took two of my nephews who were 9 and 4 to the zoo, and they both love that exhibit.
Oh, I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Super fun.
So, Jenny, one of the other big things that's happened this year that it's just, I don't even know if people really get how impactful this is going to be. But that's the creation of the True Blue Lead program,
Yes,
which
yes.
sort of developed from a Provost Scholar program that maybe was not the most aptly named
Right.
at the time. And talk to us about how that scholarship program works and what students are going to have the opportunity to do.
Awesome.
This is really big.
It's really big. It's really big. So in student life, we've kind of had a dream for a while that we wanted to create a leadership program, and we wanted it to be not just a little few students. We want it to be a really big, cool, impactful leadership program. And so in trying to figure out how we would fund that, incentivize that, create that, we recognized that the former Provost Scholars Program was maybe an opportunity for us. And knowing that that program existed, but there really wasn't a lot of continuation or substance to the program after students were selected. And so we would always have students contacting us to say, okay, so I got this scholarship. What am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to be doing something? And we wouldn't really have that structure for them to know where they belonged and fit. So we went to the provost and asked, hey, would you be willing to kind of allow us to kind of take over the management of that program so that we could create something really cool? And so the provosts were so gracious to allow that. And so what we've done is we've created this program through which students had to apply. So a lot of students, this was their first group interview experience. And, I started out in the residence halls long time ago, and that's really common in residence halls. And in Greek life, Dr. Goodson, that's where we met, was back in Greek life. And so they came and they did a group interview process. And to back up, when we had the Provost Scholars Program, we would have maybe 50 applications per year for the 40 slots. And not all of those even always qualified. So this year we had over 125 applications. So it went huge just in terms of that. So they came in early March and we did a group interview process for about 4 hours on a Saturday morning. And they went through several different interview segments. From that, we narrowed it down to the people we thought would be the best for the fit, and they then got individual interviews, so we moved them into that, and now they're in the program. So we have 50 people in the program. We have 3 tracks. So we have the new student orientation track, we have the student ambassadors, and we have the student success leaders. And each of them is led by a team from Student Life, and they are doing different things. Like our student orientation leaders already have been helping with new student orientation all summer long. They've been involved in that process. They have been doing skits in new student orientation, helping with check-in, helping with tours, just kind of a myriad of things that go along with new student orientation. Then we have people who will be helping kind of with our schools. They're going to be targeted with the schools, and so they'll be doing things like if the schools have a a table, an information table, or they want to go to a specific area to talk to students about that program. So they'll be targeted there, and then we also have the last group, the ambassadors, and they're going to be partnered with our recruitment team. So they're doing things like giving the tours college-wide and all that. So all kinds of different ways that they're plugged in. Additionally, we'll meet with them once a month, and so we'll work on a lot of the soft skills leadership training that students need. We'll have leadership speakers who come in. They're helping to plan, for instance, our student leadership retreat for the fall. So just really an all-around leadership experience. So the students are benefiting in the skills that they're getting, but then the college is benefiting because we're partnering them with so many different areas across the college to really make an impact and help make a difference to students, both incoming and current.
That's a fabulous opportunity, and one we really haven't had for our students
Right.
prior to this. So congratulations
Thank you.
on
Thank
that.
you.
One thing we've really ramped up in the last year is our wellness program. We've had a new person join us.
Right.
She's been on the radio show.
Jessica Haven. That's
Jessica
right.
Haven.
Mhm.
Thank you. I was searching there for a
Yep.
minute. Don't tell Jessica. Of course,
I
it's
won't.
on the podcast now. But she was impressive and
Yes.
came to us from Rogers State
Yep.
and
So
ready
competent.
to really ramp it up for us. So talk to us a little bit about, it's not just about working out.
Right.
Yeah.
So wellness is so much more, and we have that workout aspect in the fitness center, but then we also have, the education piece of making sure that people are holistically taking care of themselves and growing as students. So we will have different kinds of activities. So we have Matters of the Heart every year that we do, and this will be either third or fourth year, I can't remember, where we have all kinds of heart-healthy activities that students can participate in with a fair on each campus. We have things we do, for instance, every November we do GASO, which is the Great American Smokeout, where we help people who maybe are struggling with a smoking addiction and they can't get through it. So we help with that. We have a lot of programs where we will give people information on drug abuse, alcohol abuse, and then their relationships. We want to encourage healthy relationships. And so we have speakers who come in and tables and things like that where we can either bring people in or we can partner people with agencies in the area who can help them if they're in an abusive relationship or maybe uncomfortable. Maybe it's not too abusive yet, but they're uncomfortable with things. And so we help people with the awareness aspect of that. What are the trigger signs for the kind of those sorts of things? And so all kinds of awesome things, that we're trying to do to just create that whole total good fit so that people feel comfortable and confident, because you can't learn if you don't feel safe and confident in who you are.
It's all, and it all comes back to learning.
It does.
does.
That's
It all
right.
comes back
That's
to
right.
learning.
Yeah, we're here to support, students are here to get a degree.
That's
So
right.
we're here to make sure that from every angle, we're making sure that they're supported and that they can get that degree. And every study will show you that students who are involved, not overly involved, we don't want them to kill themselves, but who are overly or who have an involvement in at least one thing at college will persist, their grades are better, and they'll be happier
Yeah,
if they're
absolutely.
involved in something.
There are just tons of things we could keep talking about, but we're
There
out
are.
of time. So,
Oh, darn.
so I want
Can I come
to
back?
Absolutely, you have to. But we do want to take time to ask you what we call the big question, which we ask of all of our guests,
Okay,
and that
I'm ready.
is, if you could go back and give advice to your 18-year-old college-bound self, what would that advice be?
I love this question, and I love it because I use this example all the time. So I'm a first-generation college student, and I grew up in a farming community in Northeast Iowa. And when I had to pick a major for college, I thought I was limited by, what class did I do the best in or like in high school? So out of math, English, social studies, science, I thought, well, I guess I'm the best in English, so I guess that will be my major. And so I know, Dr. Stone, that's your
No,
major
I'm
too.
not offended. I'm not offended.
But But here's what I did. So then I went through college for 4 years, and I liked it fine, but I wouldn't say I was passionate about it.
Right.
But I kind of didn't know how to change my major. I really didn't know what to do, didn't know what that would do to my schooling. So I just stuck with it. So I graduated in 4 years with no summer school because I really didn't know how to change my major. And so I didn't utilize all the awesome opportunities and resources that we had. And so my advice to students is ask tons of questions and don't be afraid to go into the offices, use the resources, and make yourself vulnerable to learning more about what's really going to make you happy in life. And so that would be what I would tell myself if I could go back in time.
It worked out for you.
It worked out. And you know what? It took someone identifying in my senior year of college, so what are you going to do? And I'm like, I don't really know. You know, I'm doing the student teaching at the time, but I don't know that that's really going to be what's going to make me happy. And she said, okay, well, let me tell you, you are rocking this RA gig. And so I really think that you need to go into student affairs. I was like, really? You can do this like for a living? And she said, yes. And it was my hall director at Iowa State. So I
Nice.
started researching, and then
Yeah.
that's kind of how I fell into it.
Well, and that's, you know, those relationships not just with faculty members, but the relationships that students build with other employees in an institution,
Right.
whether it's student life or an administrator or an administrative assistant, I mean, whoever it is.
Right.
Like, there's some life-changing things that happen in those relationships, even when it's outside the classroom. So it's so important, and
It
I hope
is.
that that's a good example and a reminder for everyone who works
Yeah.
here, that the things that you say to a student, even if you think it's not a big deal, it could be life-changing and you just don't know it.
Always, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
Well, Jenny, Beatie, thanks for being with us today.
Thank
It's
you
been
for
great to
having
have you.
me.
And thank you for listening to the Big Blue Podcast. You can catch it every week in the week at TCC or online on YouTube at the Creativity Channel. Dr. Goodson, thank you.
Thank you.
And we'll see you next time. Thanks for listening.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.